Well, I'm back for another review. Today happens to be June 7th, and with all the um, craziness that I took a long time doing a review, I actually enjoyed it. I'm still going to do the review of Unmasked Part 25, but that's going to be later in the week. I figured I would do a video today because today, as most people know, if they're on any social media or have been around for the past 40 years, will know that today is the Goonies' 35th anniversary. Um, I remember seeing the movie on this day, and I remember wanting to go see it when I saw the previews for it, and I was so excited to see it. So it was great to know that I went and seen it. I think I saw it in Maysville, Kentucky, the theater there. This is still the theater's still there, and my mom always didn't think would go see it because it had a lot of skeletons in it because she thought I was because I got a little frightened of like the Gremlins in 1984 and Indiana Jones Temple of Doom where it pulled the guy's heart out. But I told her, Mom, I'm a guy. I love Goonies no matter what, and today it's still my number one favorite movie of all time. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see that I posted what I have on physical media, but I wanted to show on YouTube that here's the VHS copy, which is going to be the thumbnail. This is the clamshell, which is the black bordered clamshell. So, and yeah, it does have the Goonies VHS, and I do have the DVD, which I've had the DVD since it came out. I think it was what was it, 2001. I've listened to the commentary several times. Here's the back of it. A lot of people probably already have this copy of the Goonies, and then the Blu-ray came out for its 25th anniversary, which was in 2010, I believe. Yeah, 2010. And this is everybody probably has seen. I like how the little symbol here with the pirate and the Goonies is all like embossed, and then you've got the brought out to see the ocean, and it's got the inside. You got the Blu-ray of it, which is pretty much the same cover as the DVD, and it's got the Get Board game and a couple other stuff in there. But yeah, so basically the Goonies review. I did a review on this 4 years ago, and it was a pretty didn't get a lot of views, but I was just starting out in the YouTube community, and so I'm doing another video, a better video, hopefully. But anyway, Goonies is basically a band of friends. You have Mikey, Mouth, Chunk, Data, and then you have Andy, Steph, and Brand, and then later you have Sloth and Mama and the Fratelli brothers. They're all played by, Mikey's played by Sean Astin, Mouth was played by Corey Feldman, Chunk was played by Jeff Cohen, Josh Brolin who played Brand, Andy was Kerry Green, who had also played in that same year Summer Rental, and went on to do Lucas with the late Corey Haim. Steph was Martha Plimpton, Sloth was the late John Matuzak, Mama Fratelli was the late Ann Ramsey. You had the Fratelli brothers, Robert Davi and Joe Pantoliano. It was directed by Richard Donner, written by Chris Columbus, and the story and produced by Steven Spielberg. So yeah, there's a lot of big names in this movie. You also was co-produced by Harvey Bernhard, who had produced with Richard Donner some of the Omen films, and Frank Marshall and Kathleen Kennedy also produced this film. The music was done by Dave Grusin, who also went on to do the composed Lucas, the movie. So basically, as a band of friends who get together, and their parents, played by the late Keith Walker and the late Mary Ellen Trainor. You may remember her for playing the mother from the Monster Squad, and she also played in all four of the Lethal Weapons. And they're about to lose their house, so they go up to the attic and they find the pirate map, and they find the bloom, which Chester Copperpot. We see a little newspaper clipping of Chester Copperpot. So they go in. But prior to this, in the beginning of the credits, you see the Fratelli brothers breaking out of jail, and then there's a long chase, and then as it's going on, you see the credits roll, and then you get to see each character. But my favorite character was Mouth, but I did like Mikey. I was more like Mikey as a kid. But as I got older, I kind of more liked Mouth, and Chunk was hilarious, doing the truffle shuffle and all the things that Mouth used to torture him with, and then you have a couple of Andy's boyfriend, somewhat boyfriend, Troy, played by what was his name? Steve Anton. He played her boyfriend, and then he has his two friends, and one of his friends was Jeb Stuart Adams, who played in Flowers in the Attic. Anyway, and they go through all this adventure, and then they end up going to this restaurant. Chunk, because what's funny? What I always find funny in the Goonies is that Chunk really didn't go on the adventure with his other friends. He got stuck behind. Because when they were down in the basement of the little restaurant, they broke the cooler, and then they all go down in there, and he got stuck there behind. So he broke out, and then it gets captured and goes back in there, and he tells them all the stories, and it was hilarious, But everybody that has seen this movie that I know of have liked this movie. I mean, it's a one of a kind film. Being 35 years ago, it's one of a kind film that has definitely stood the test of time. I know that there is a lot of people that can look at this movie nowadays, and look at how it's been dated, especially the special effects and certain things in the blue screen and some of the stuff in the background, and there's a little bit goofs here and there, like when they're reading the map in the house and you hear them talking but you don't see their mouth moving, and then Mouth in the background is trying, because he turned the water on and his pants, and he's trying to grab a towel to wipe it off. But it was always kind of funny how, and then there's a lot of people, a lot of critics always have said, why is there Spanish in the movie? Well, they had a person that was taking care of the house, who was played by the late Lupe. I'm not sure how she says her last name. It starts with an O. Well, she played it in Selena. She's no longer. She has passed away too. And it's really cool that after 35 years, I can sit here and watch the movie and recite the film before they even say the line. I've watched this movie at least 400 to 500 times. That's probably closer to the 500 times I've seen this film, and it's been like all my family members. My late dad, he liked it. My mom likes it. All the friends that I've known outside of social media liked it. Co-workers I've worked with in the past and present, cousins and family members, and it just goes down the line. That something like that can a movie that's basically, it's a PG rated film, which could have been rated PG-13, because of the language, but and that it definitely is going to be continue to be celebrated for years and years to come. Probably on its 40th anniversary, its 45th, 50th, so on and so forth. But every day on June 7th, it happens to be the Goonies Day, because that was the day that it was released 35 years ago in 1985. And to me, I don't think doing a remake is going to do this any justice. And as the years go by, it's definitely going to be harder and harder to see actual sequel to this, because a lot of the cast members are in their late 40s and mid to late 50s, so it's not, and even the director, he's getting up there, and Steven Spielberg, he's getting up there. I don't, if they do make a sequel to this, it's definitely going to have the original cast. But I had a dilemma where I was thinking, what the best thing they could do to continue the story of the Goonies is they could actually do a television series, which I heard that there's some TV series coming out. CW is doing like a Goonies kind of like show in the fall, once all this stuff going on in the world lifts and everybody can get back into enjoying, outside and all that kind of stuff. But once that all goes away, maybe they'll finally start filming that, and then it'll probably be on next year. But like I was saying, I was thinking maybe what the best thing they could do is be like a TV show, but they could do it animated, and they could have it to where all the voices from the original cast are on there, and they could just do continuous um, adventures after what happened at the end of the Goonies. They already got the jewels and they saved the house, and then just different things that could go on. That's what something I always thought about. Seeing them they could do. I don't know whether they would do that or not, but since it's harder and harder as the years go by, that actors and directors and producers are getting older, and then they have other things they want to do. So that would probably be the best that they could do, is do like an animated series. They could put it on Netflix or Hulu or any kind of streaming service, and people I'm sure would watch it, especially when it has the original voices and you have the original people behind it backing it up. And then the show that CW is doing, hopefully, it brings back a lot of nostalgia. But they tried to do that with the Lost Boys, the 2 and 3, and it didn't do too well. But like I said, that was something I would like to see happen. Is do like an animated TV show, and you could do like just show, kind of like refresh the memory of the original movie, and then start adventures afterwards as they're growing up, and that's just something that would be pretty cool to see. But now that I've already discussed what I would do, give me your comments down below, and what would you do if you was able to get into to do something with the continuation stories of the Goonies. Would you do a sequel? Would you do an animated show? Would you do a live action show? And also a lot of people might remember this, that they actually did 2 Goonies games. They did Goonies, and then they did Goonies 2, which Goonies 2 really didn't have much to do with the first movie when they did it for NES, and which NES is Nintendo Entertainment System. People don't realize what that is that back in the 80s they did there was an arcade game called the Goonies, which really is what got really big, and then they eventually put it on NES, but I don't think it was released here, and if it was released pretty rare. But the Goonies 2 actually was sold a lot, and it was not as good as the original Goonies game. They actually made stickers. They made a sticker back in 1985. They made sticker. They also had a storybook, which was a big storybook, and then they had like a small story that I got at when I was in elementary school. I got that, which I still have it, but I'm not sure where it's at. I know the cover of it's fallen off over the years because it's old. It's like 35 years old. So But then I had I had the stickers. One sticker I had was actually just a photo of Mikey with Chester Copperpot's patch over his eye. I have that on a lunchbox somewhere. They've done some figures in the past 10-15 years. I've got 2 of them. I've got Mouth and I've got Sloth. I just need to get Mikey, Chunk, and Data. I wouldn't mind getting the crossbone with the skull. I wouldn't mind getting that. I know that came out. I think what they should do is that they should, how the Funko Pops have done a lot of stuff with the horror, like Jason and Freddy and Michael and Leatherface and all that. And then you got all characters from the Game of Thrones, and you got the Batmans and the Super, and so on and so forth. They should do the Goonies, if they haven't already. If they have, definitely try to buy those. But they should do like all the characters, not just the main 4 guys. Bring in Brand and Steph and Andy and the Fratelli brothers and Mama Fratelli and the pirate ship and stuff like that. But that's something that I would like to see happen. Not only do I have, like I said, showed the physical medias I got, I also have a big gigantic poster. That follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see the poster of that. And but yeah, so Goonies to me, at the time when it came out in 1985, at that time my favorite movie was E.T. It came in 1982, and then I had seen that a bunch of times in the theater. And when Goonies came along, it actually bumped E.T. to number 2, which now E.T. is actually in my top 10. It's not number 2, but Goonies is number 1, and so that's basically the basically what I'm trying to say is that the script wise was pretty good. I mean, there was certain things in the movie that actually I don't think could have been done better. It was a lot of funny scenes in it, and hilarious. It still makes me laugh today, especially the when you speak in Spanish to Rosalita and telling him about the drugs in the drawer and the sexual torture devices up in the attic. I thought that was really cool. And then when Data breaks through the screen door and they end up knocking over the statue that has a penis sticking up and it falls up and they try to glue it upside down. There's all kinds of things like that, you know. But the Goonies holds up for me today. I mean, because I was born in 1976, so I was 9 years old when I saw the movie, and I still like it today. And I watched it, like I said, 500 times. And I've read the storybook several times. I did forget, they did actually come up with a soundtrack for Goonies. It was on CD or cassette, cassette player, cassette tape, and I have that. I'm not sure where I put it, but I do have that, and I don't have any way to play it because I don't have a cassette player. But and then later on they did a CD, which was an import, and you can actually listen to the soundtrack on Spotify or Pandora probably, or anywhere. Maybe even YouTube has got a lot of the videos and the sound music from the movie. But so yeah, hopefully I did a little bit better review on this than I did the last one. Like I said, that was 4 years ago. So, but I figured I would just come on here and do this video. I wasn't going to do another video until I did the Unmasked Part 25 review back. I was going to do that this coming Friday, which I still am going to do that this Friday. But since it was the 35th anniversary, I said, hell with it. I'll just go ahead and do a review, a Prop 2 video, and see how everybody likes it. So, like I said, if you got any suggestions of what you would do to see a continuation of the story, leave them in the comments below. Would you do an animated show, live show, a sequel? Like I said, I would love to see a sequel. I'm sure plenty of fans would love to see a sequel. It's just like I said, it's the longer it takes for them to get it done, and the older they get, it's going to make it harder, and it's not going to do the same as it had done when the original came out 35 years ago. So anyway, hopefully you are watching the movie today, or have watched it if you have kids and watching it with them, and to another generation of fans. And after this video, I'm going to pop it in and watch it. And I do also, not only do I have this on VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray, but I also have this on Vudu streaming. So I can either just pop in one of my DVD or VHS or the Blu-ray, or I could just watch it on streaming. So it's one of the only films that I only have the 4 different kinds of ways to watch it. I don't have, there's a couple other films, Lost Boys I do have on DVD, and I have VHS, and there's a couple other films I do have on other medias, but this is just one that I happen to have a lot more of, because it's my favorite movie of all time. So and also, other than what would you do continuation, what is your favorite character? Like I said, my favorite character was Mikey, but now is actually Mouth. I do like the other characters. Data, he has like the pinchers of Pearl, and he falls down in there and they think he's dead and he's not. And I also like Chunk when he pulls up the thing and it breaks the water, and you hear screaming. He goes, oh. and when he throws the baby Ruth at it, and he screams. And that scene, and when Chuck's talking about, because Robert Davi said, I want you to tell us everything. So he tells him everything about he climbing up the stairs, and he throws up, and he pushes his sister down the stairs, and they start to put his hand down on the blender, just stuff like that. Scenes like that, which it just Renaissance on my head, reminds me of all the nostalgic, and every time I watch it, you know, even though I've seen it so many times, it's like I watch it for the first time because um, it's just one of those films that for me that I can never get tired of watching. There's other films out there and other different genres that I've watched hundreds of times too, but this just happens to be the one that I continue to watch each and every year, probably 3 or 4 times a year. Uh, kind of slowed down because since I got so many movies, you know, it's kind of hard to try to watch every movie that I own every day. But so anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you like this video, leave, like I said, leave the comments about what I asked, and what was your favorite scene, who's your favorite character, what would you do on a continuation of this Goonies story. Would you actually put a director's cut of the original Goonies? Would you upgrade the special effects to make it look good? And there is a 4K coming out here soon, and I plan on buying that as well. So that may I'll have 5 different versions of the Goonies. And so yeah, like I said, just leave a comment on below, and thank you for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and like always, give this a thumbs up, and I will catch you on the next video on this Friday.